This is part two. Part two of the Erv Miller. We got rid of it. We sent them back. We
sent them back to work.
Sent them back to
where
work.
they're supposed to be. Yeah, work. That's what most people know about our barn. That it's a lot of hard work.
Is that something that you? How old are you? You've been doing this for 30 years.
You know what? I'm really old. 51.
51. Okay, so
and I won my first race when I was 16, but I've been doing it our own stable since I was 23.
23. You won your first race training or driving?
Driving when I was 16.
Okay. Now you probably quickly switched to training and then kind of backed off.
You know what? I used to love to drive when I was young. That's how I picked it up, and that's what I started to do. And then I just kept getting a little bigger and decided that maybe I better pick up the training.
I mean, you're like what, 6'2"? I mean, you're a big dude. Yeah. I mean,
but I used to be big and tall and skinny.
Okay.
Now I'm not tall and skinny anymore.
Now you're just tall.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, listen, it is what it is, right?
Right.
When you stop hitting the gym.
I like hitting the gym. That's another thing. When I'm 51, I got to do that a little more.
That's right.
Hit the gym, stay in shape.
How long have you had a 100-horse stable? And that's not really something that was around a lot, right? I mean, you were one of the first guys that really got a lot of horses and had success.
Oh yeah, but back in the Billy Houghton days and them, they had lots of horses like that. But then, yeah, I was probably after that era, before our era, before Ronnie Burke era. I probably had when Tony Alanya was working for me, we had right around 200 horses, 220, something like that.
And now you've cut back because you just don't want that many?
Right. I don't want to have as many horses as we have, and just because we really got a good group of guys working for us. My nephew Mark come on board last year, and Atlee there, they do a good job, so it's made my job a little easier, and I took on down here. We had 88 last year, but this year we went back to 100. We took another shed road just because they said they could handle it and did a real good job.
So have you kind of moved into an overseer versus and I don't know if you ever were a kind of micromanager. What would you describe?
Yeah, I've always been a micromanager. I think too much, and as I get a little older, I want to try to relax a little bit and not be quite as tense on it as I was in my younger years. But
having some good people work for you, you can kind of let things go, right?
Right. Well, you don't really let them go. You just let somebody else do them versus me have such an oversight on it.
Sure. Now, when you had 200, was that including a lot of age horses, or have you really never had a lot of aged horses?
No, that was a lot of aged horses too. We'd race horses all year, and I'd keep 40 of them racing or 30 of them racing in the wintertime too.
So now you just like dealing with 2- and 3-year-olds?
Yeah, pretty much. We're just about all stake 2- and 3-year-olds. We'll keep a 3-year-old over for their 4- or 5-year-old year once in a while, but not a lot.
So then 3-year-old year, just private sales or auction?
Most of the time they go to Harrisburg or the Meadowlands sale in the spring.
Okay. Do you keep track of some of the ones that you've sold? Or, I mean, it's hard, I guess, not to, because they're probably all good at some point.
Yeah, you can watch them. There's so much access on the internet and everything. You can see what's going on. So, yeah, I watch them a little bit, but it's not something when I sell them, I hope they do a little good. I hope the guy, can make a profit on them and come back and get another one.
Was there a horse that you sold that you wish you didn't sell because he was still really good?
There is. There's a few that went along that I thought, maybe it was a horse we should have kept and raced. But most of the time not. Most of the time the problem is that they've went through condition. Now they're a racehorse. They got to go up and down the ladder, and that's just not something that I do a lot of.
That's it's something you want to avoid, right?
Yeah.
Do you, when you see them racing at 5 or 6 or 7, and you see them in the winter circle at Yonkers or wherever, you kind of puff out your chest and be like, yeah, I had that. I taught that horse.
Yeah,
much everything
I don't know about that, but I'm proud of the ones that are still racing. It's nice to see them out there, and it shows that you had a good foundation in them and they lasted.
Do you? How many times have you altered your training ways, or do you constantly it's hard to train 100 horses without some kind of, we got this system, and we could deviate from it a little bit, but
yeah, most of the time what I do is constantly look up for new ways to do something to help horses, and we don't train train them. It looks like we're training them all the same because they're all going together, but some might be an extra day or two before they train, or then we change what we do with them if I see that's not fitting them, you know.
Okay.
But we do train a lot of horses together, you know, get them used to each other.
Has there been a new? Nobody's watching. Has there been a new method you've employed this year?
No, not much. I mean, we go, you know, in sets, and we're going a little longer miles.
I'm trying to get the secrets out of him. You won't give it away. You won't give it away. You want the secrets, you got to come here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You got to watch in person.
You got to
and
watch.
Try to catch it.
Try to listen. I went with 100 horses. They all look the same to me. I'm just videoing them all, so I'm just trying not to get killed out there.
You did a pretty good job. I didn't see you fall or anything.
No, nothing, right?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We even did it, which I couldn't get it on video. Maybe it's on video. We did a switcherooski in the jog cart.
Yeah, with one seat to the other. Wasn't nothing. I mean,
Wasn't-
that colt was like he didn't notice I dropped the lines on
That
it.
went smooth, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a type of horse that do you like the trouble ones, or do you like the ones that just go smooth and are great?
When I was younger, I used to like the trouble ones. Think I was a hero for fixing them.
Right,
Now I
right.
like them when they're just smooth and they're ready to roll.
How many?
I like it. The faster they want to go, the better I like them.
Perfect. And yeah, if they go fast and straight, you like them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have many homebreds? Like, do you have that set up for you, or homebred meaning somebody else bought and you just have them?
Somebody just reminded me they're all homebreds. Somebody bred all of them at home somewhere.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, we have some homebreds. There's a few of them that me and Mike Anderson, Paymac, Ron Michaelon, a few others that have their own mares. They breed a few mares, not a lot, but and then Ross Bonifield, we've got a few homebreds for him, but most of them we buy.
Okay. So, do you? Most of these breeding farms, they're handling them so early that they come here. It's like your job's half done, right?
Right. By the time they come from a sale anymore, and they've been through the equicizers where they get their workout and everything, you can jog them, line drive them a day, and hook them the next day, and go a couple miles. They're up to it because they've been worked with so much.
Mm-hmm. I would say some trainers want to hit home runs. They go for a specific race or a circuit or a program or whatever. Not that everybody doesn't want to win the Hamiltonian or the Meadowlands Pace or the North America Cup, but do you have to gear a horse towards that race to win it? Or, you know, like what you've done is pretty much every horse, like I think you probably got one of the best resumes for getting all your horses to the barn with a great average. Everybody's doing pretty well. You don't see many hit or misses in the Erv Miller stable.
Right. We
fair to
get a
say?
lot of them to the races, a lot of horses to the races, but you always want to win the big races, and I think there's you do have to point them towards big races if you want to win them. I think but at the same token, if you don't get them races enough, then they can't get good enough to be in those races. Some people wait and just train a horse a lot before they race, and I think they've got to have some racing in order to get set up for something.
Sure. Like, you know, last couple of years we've seen where these horses, specifically the Hamiltonian, it's like they're good at 2, and no, we're gearing them for the whether they don't race or they do race. As a fan, forget it. You know, do you want to see horses race more leading up on their 3-year-old year, or do you just want to see them? Hey, if that horse just wins a race before the Hamiltonian and wins the Hamiltonian, that's okay.
Right, that's okay. If that's what that horse needs, I think then somebody did a great job, right?
Yeah.
But as far as, I think every horse is different too. I think some horses need more racing, and depends on how much they raced at 2, right?
Yeah.
If they race more at 2, then maybe they don't need as much racing. If they didn't race much at 2, they probably need a few more starts.
How do you gauge the amount of races a 2-year-old is going to have? Like, you know, we can talk about an older horse. Just to use an
the
example.
2-year-olds are horses that are individuals. Like, you really gotta, like, some horses take a lot of work, and if you got to put a lot of work in them and race them quite a bit, they're not going to take as many starts.
Okay.
But if they don't take as much work, you can probably get another start or 2 out of them.
So you generally do you have an idea now of the horses that, yeah, we're maybe only going to race them a couple times as a 2-year-old?
Yeah, a little sense of it. I do it a little bit in the way we stake them. I don't try to just pay every stake payment because they're not going to be in every race. But if the horse seems to be pretty sound and coming along pretty good and hasn't really had any hiccups, then you think you're going to have a little chance to race that horse a little more.
Do you like racing the 2-year-olds better or the 3-year-olds?
The 2-year-olds, getting a green horse started young, and especially when they're a good one, that's a lot of fun.
Do you like how many do you have random that are, let's say, 100,000 yearling or over?
Oh, not very many. A couple of years ago, we tried to buy several high price ones again, and it really didn't work out on any of those at 2 last year, but it might in the future. But I bought Swan for All was a $275,000 yearling. We bought him from top to the bottom. It just I've had Love Matters was one I can think of lately that we only paid 20-some thousand for, and he was a real top 2-year-old.
And so he's doing over in Europe, right?
Yeah, he's racing. He won the 4-year-old elite love, I believe.
Right. Yeah. So, so you like the 2-year-olds better? Is it just because it's less? Do you feel there's less pressure or more pressure?
No, it's not the pressure for 2-year-olds. For me, it's just you have the option to have that real home run.
Okay.
The 3-year-olds, most of the time you've kind of figured out what most of them are by the time you come back at 3.
So you kind of know, like, there's really not that many wiggle-it-jigglets that surprise people at 3.
Not a lot. I mean, you'll get one once in a while that's coming back, that does a lot more than you think. But most of the time, if you saw them at 2, you kind of got figured out what they had.
Is there like, you have a good one, and I'm sure between all the stakes races and whatever, is there a lot of offers of people trying to buy horses? And do you like that? Do you like to sell, or do you like to keep them and then 3? That's when we move them on.
No, for me, for the ones I own part of, my business is horse racing. So if I can sell one worth the money, then I'm probably going to sell it. But a lot of our clients, they're not in the same shoes as we are. So sometimes we end up keeping them. They're not for sale. But most of the time, if it's a horse in our barn, they're for sale for a certain price.
So is that been like? Is there a couple of points that have made you successful and grow? Has it been one of them, like never be afraid to sell a horse, or never get attached to one, or try to take chances?
Yeah, I try to treat it like a business. So okay. That's part of the reason I always sell.
I think there's not too many that do that.
Right, it's hard to do because once you get one going good, them are the kind that are hard to sell.
Now your wife too. Does she have any involvement in the horses or the business?
Oh, she does a lot. She does all the book work and takes care of making sure that the paperwork's in order with the horses.
Okay, so that's a job in itself, right?
Right, it's a full-time job when you have 100 horses.
And because you're not racing too many race horses, you don't really have to sit there and worry about what classes and where we're going to race them, because their schedules are kind of mapped out, right?
The only thing that happens in the summertime is we have too many non-winners of 1 and 2. Trying to get them started before stake races and stuff, and that's the only problem we have, is there be too many of them where you have 3 and you want to get them all raced this week, but there's not enough places to get them in at.
Do you have any, it doesn't matter to me, do you have any ones that right now that are head and shoulders above, or are 75% of them progressing where you want them to be? Like,
yeah, the way we train them all together. Most of the time, especially right now, as we keep going this spring, we'll separate them out a little bit more and put the ones that are ready to go on a little more with the ones that are ready to go on. Right now, I can tell which ones are more ready to go on because we've been with them, but we go the same speed because I don't want to overwork them too early.
Okay, but you have an idea of the ones you could test or pressure a little bit more.
Right. There's some you could go on more than others.
Is there a specific way, like, let's say you had a horse that's a really good 2-year-old pacing colt or 2-year-old trotting colt. Is there specific ways, like, take a 2-year-old trotting colt. Are you going to put him with the pacers and see if he can stretch him out?
Oh, I have before. I've taken, and they're just so advanced of the trotters that you just let them go a little more. But most of the time I don't. Most of the time I'll stay with trotters. And,
okay.
The miles. I think the miles are so important for them.
When do you start trying to separate them? Maybe May.
Yeah, before we leave Florida, probably the month of April, I'll change some of them out and let them go with some that we'll go along a little more.
So is it like maybe, hey, we're gonna see if we can go at 27 quarter here, or we're gonna put you in a hole where you're first over, and you know we're gonna rough you up. Like, do you try to maybe put them in positions they've never been in?
You're right. We not in a position, but we do let them pace a little on the end. I don't know that we'll go very many quarters in 27 out here, but we'll let them wrap up, get out a little bit, and the ones that are ready, let them stretch out before they leave down here.
When was the last time you've seen snow?
Oh, I've seen snow. I was raised with snow. That's why I'm here.
Well, that's what I mean. You've been down here for 14, 15 years, right?
Right, but I go up north. I see snow off and on, but every time I do, I realize why I'm here.
But it's a little bit different when you vacation someplace and you see snow versus.
What's vacation?
You don't know what a vacation is. Lizzie, your vacation's out on the golf course, right?
I've had some vacations. I've been very blessed that way.
Has there been a vacation that sticks out in your mind?
Oh, the one last year with Hannah going to Hungary. That was awesome. We had a great time.
What was the crew there?
What was the crew?
Yeah, you. Who was?
Oh.
What was the entourage? Do you travel with an entourage?
Yeah, all the time.
Right, exactly.
That was you, right?
No, that wasn't me. That was.
You didn't go to Hungary?
No, me and Marcus look alike, but
Marcus didn't go either.
He didn't go.
No.
So what was it? You, Hannah?
Yeah.
Heidi, I'm assuming.
Heidi, yeah. I don't know who else went. Joe Feraldo, his wife went. Nick Cirque went.
So that was the whole crew?
Yeah, I think that was
all with us. You guys pretty much stayed together the whole time? Did you and Heidi go do something separate?
No, we pretty much were together. That was the whole, it was a pretty quick trip. We were there 5 or 6 days and raced most of them. So Hannah raced most of them in them amateur races.
So that was just different culture? Was that your favorite part of it?
Yeah, it was just different horse racing. It was just good to see. Probably one of my best vacations have been last year in 16. We went to Hawaii.
Okay.
For a couple of weeks. That was the best vacation. That was just our immediate family went, and we had a great time.
Now, I think we're probably about 4 or 5 hours from there. How many times, and if the answer is no, I'm going to be really upset. How many times have you been to the Masters?
I haven't.
What?
Right.
What do you...
What's up with that?
What do you take?
I played Bay Hill, though, before.
Okay. When it was turned into the U.S. Open course?
Yeah.
Like that year, or just
a couple years ago?
Because when they turn it into a U.S. Open, don't they change a whole bunch of stuff? They cut the grass different?
No, they let the grass grow long.
Right.
It's hard to get your ball out of it.
Right. So have you played a U.S. Open course as it's a U.S. Open course?
That one was only a week or two before the Open.
Okay, so that was, okay. Yeah. But why haven't you gone to the Masters? Golf is your thing, right?
Right, but it's one of them things. I got work. I got a job.
Yeah, but you can't, listen, one of these years.
You can't get away all the time.
It's got to be... Stop cooking sandwiches. The guy cooked 90 breakfast sandwiches the other day for everybody. Take a couple of days off and go. Is that something you want to do?
Yeah, I'd go sometime. I'm sure we'll make that a trip.
Okay. Who's in horse racing? Do you have who's better golf? Like who's the best golfer you played with?
In the horse racing business. Wow, that's a tough question. You know what? I've never played with John Campbell, but I hear he's one of the best ones.
He's pretty good?
Yeah, that's what I hear. But I haven't played with him. My brother Andy's pretty sharp on the golf course.
Better than you?
Off and on. Yeah, before he had his back injury, I think he was quite a bit better than me.
But now you're better, right?
Well, we'll find out. He's coming tomorrow.
He's coming down here?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed out. All right.
Yeah. No, he'll be here. You'll be here Tuesday doing your video.
Well, that's true, yeah. So he'll be here all week?
Yeah, for a couple days.
How is you're older than Andy?
I am. I'm the oldest of 7 children.
7 children. How many brothers?
There's 4 of us. Me and Andy, and then I've got 3 sisters, and then 2 younger brothers.
Okay, so you're the oldest?
I am.
You're the oldest. So you had to be. That's why you've been so successful having 100 horses, because you had to lead. You had to keep your brothers and sisters in line.
I had to keep them in line. Yeah.
Now, because I have a little sister too. I always used to torture her I still
tortured her.
I still do. Oh yeah. Oh, listen. So have you? Did you and Andy get along when you were kids, or did you just? Yeah. You just mess with
We
them?
always got along. We played a lot, and I'm sure there were enough times we had arguments and messing with each other, but no, we always got along.
I would imagine
We
that
still always get along.
you still probably
Yeah.
when you hit 20s or so, that's when you really had no more issues with.
Right, probably.
What about your other family, your sisters and your brothers? They involved in horses or?
No, they're all still back home in Illinois. They have horses. Two of my sisters, my oldest and youngest, Maddie and Mary, are still Amish, so they use horses for transportation.
Okay. So is there like a little insider trading there going on when you're sending horses back home?
I give them horses when I can. I actually give my sister Maddie, my youngest sister, gave her Lucky Jim the other day.
Really?
Their family took Lucky Jim for a buggy horse and kind of their pet.
So he's he's a pet now and
Yeah.
living life.
Yeah, living life large and easy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't fully remember. He won on Hamilton. Was he your horses and Andy's, or Andy just drove him? I can't fully remember.
Actually, Prushnux owned him, and I had him a little bit way early in his career, and then Andy got him because I wasn't north in the wintertime. They sent him to Andy, and then they sent him back to me later on in his life when he was about done, and then they actually took him home and kind of made him a pet, and then brought him back. They said they wanted to see if we could get him ready to race and have Hannah drive him in the amateurs.
Okay, that would be a story.
Like an 11-year-old, but he just had a couple issues that we didn't think he'd overcome, so we just trying to be easier on him.
Okay. So now that you got, I mean, that's your family. Now you got Hannah and Marcus. They're doing their own things. We know Hannah's starting her new job. Marcus is doing great driving wise. Going to be a grandpop pretty soon. So
yeah, we're really looking forward to that.
I know that Heidi is just,
more forward to it than me.
She's got to be losing her mind, right?
She's ecstatic. Yep.
And you're going to
agree.
fly up because they're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yep.
Marcus and Sarah.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure the minute the baby's born, we'll be there.
that's it. So has there been like a family kind of moment where you were most proud being involved with horses? Was it Hannah and Marcus doing your own thing, or maybe Andy doing something, or?
Yeah, there's just a whole group of us. I think both of my kids, I think they've learned a lot from Andy just because of Andy hitting the East Coast before they did and before we did. And, just the whole group. And winning the Breeders' Crown with Marcus driving was awesome. I've won, I think, 6 or 7 Breeders' Crowns, something like that. But with Marcus driving was just
one was good.
Special.
Yeah, because that was all family. So
Yeah.
I mean, and it's good that it was that his first Breeders' Crown was on a family horse.
Right. It was the best. Yeah.
So now we just got to get a couple more of them, right?
Right.
Maybe
We'll keep it going.
Hannah jump on one.
Have Hannah get the owner's Breeders' Crown too.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be big.
Is she the only one that hasn't been we got to get the owner part, right?
Yeah.
She's the only one that hasn't won a Breeders' Crown then.
Yeah, she'll get it done.
What are you waiting for, Hannah?
She might even drive it. You never know.
Just put her up.
Yeah.
I mean, she's good as all the other guys,
Yeah,
right?
she's got plenty of go.
Last thing before I let you go, have you wanted to make any changes because you've been doing this type of system for 15 years, give or take? Come to Florida, get a lot of horses. Are you going to be doing this another 25 years?
No, not 25 years. I know I'm not going to be doing it that long. I might train horses, but it won't be
like
this amount. But one of the things that's going on right now for us is just there's a lot of things going on with Hannah getting the new job and everything. But Atlee and our team here has just done a phenomenal job getting everything organized, and everything seems to be flowing a little smoother again than it had since we made the move out east for a few years ago.
Sure. So maybe if normally, trainer, okay, you have a discussion after a training set or whatever, and you guys, hey, I think we should do this, I think we should add this, right? That's generally how it goes, and then you make the final decision, hey, put this on, blah, 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 change this, right? That's pretty much, listen, that's how all stables are, right?
Right.
You take input, and then you make the final. Do you find yourself, because you got to kind of maybe take a step back and say, okay, this training set, I'm not saying anything. I want to see what those guys come up with.
Yeah, I've kind of done that with Atlee and even Mark, my nephew, and and them is just let them do a little bit of decision making on their own, trying to get horses rigged up and getting them going the right way, especially when I'm not around.
Sure, yeah, and when you're not around, so you can go to the Masters.
Right, exactly. Have time to golf a little more.
Yeah. Is golf your main, like, outside of horse racing?
Oh yeah, I like playing tennis. I play racquetball too. I probably like the racquetball and stuff as much as either one of them, just for the exercise.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you try to do stuff outside of horse racing, so you're not in. Listen, I know it's tough. You got a lot of horses, a lot of stuff to do, but you got to find ways outside.
Right. You just got to make time, because if you don't make time, horse industry will take a lot of your time.
So, anything else? Did we miss anything? I think that's.
I don't think so. I think that's about it. I think everybody can see the videos.
Yeah.
You did a good job with the videos.
Yeah, we tried.
We'll see how it comes out and see if they like it or not. But I think it worked out good.
I think we see different angles and all the horses going. When you have so many, you almost can't pick out one, because you have to say, okay, they're all meant to do their job, and if they don't do the job, that's when we make changes, right?
Yeah, and what happens, it's still so early in the year to pick out the ones that are going to be great horses. Yeah, we have some that are really doing their work well right now, but to pick out the great ones this far, other than what the 3-year-olds did last year, that's a little easier to pick, and depends on how they're coming back.
Sure.
But the 2-year-olds going forward, there's so many variables going to come into play before now and time to make money, that you still got to have everything go right.
And you're pretty happy with all of them so far?
Yeah, happy with the horses, happy with the team. I think we got a good group of them.
Has this been one of your best years?
I think it's starting out to be. Last year, I thought we had in the making of a pretty good year, and then most of the horses were sick in July, so that kind of set us back. But hopefully we'll overcome that this year and be ready to go.
Okay, so Erv Miller, team Erv Miller stable, EMS. I'm trying to listen. I think we should do Erv Racing Ventures, so that it's ERV.
Man, you got some ideas, don't you?
I'm just saying. I came off of that at the top of my head. Miller Stable's fine. Listen, I had to do the shameless self-promotion. Actually, a lot of people think I'm Marcus walking around here. They keep, hey, Marcus, how you doing?
Everything but the tattoos. They just don't go.
That's right. Well, I was walking around with a long sleeve shirt, so they didn't know. There was no way. So, Erv Miller, thanks you.
Thank you.